Why does your dog lean on you? Literally, I mean, not metaphorically. Are they drunk? There's a few theories kicking around, bad and good. Let's focus on the good for now, then get to the bad a little later. Let's get the most simple and obvious possibility out of the way. Your dog might lean on just because they love you. All right, let's move on to the next one. Wait, what's that? You want me to keep talking about how much your dog loves you? Of course you do. All right, rewind. We'll pop back to number 2 in a bit. So your dog leans on you, and one of the most possible reasons is as simple as they love you. An important fact that can help you wrap your head around almost any dog quirk, no matter how weird, is that they are pack animals. This means that they are used to being physically close to those they want to bond with, as a way of building trust and connecting. When your dog leans on you, it may well be their way of confirming you as a member of the pack, if not the leader, and saying, "I feel safe with you." Ain't that adorable? According to animal behaviorist Patricia McConnell, who knows what she's talking about, as she has a PhD in everything, dogs use body contact as a form of social bonding, much like humans do when we hug or hold hands. Dogs that lean against their owners frequently are thought to do so as an expression of deep love, reverence, and even attachment. If your dog does this regularly, that's one heck of a good sign. It means they see you as a major source of comfort and security. Who's a good pet parent? You're a good pet parent. All right, back to... Sometimes it is thought that dogs don't lean against their owners because they feel safe with them exactly, but more than they presently feel unsafe. So they are looking for some temporary comfort to get them through a stressful or anxious moment. If your dog is prone to leaning against you more often in certain situations, it might be because those situations stress them out, so they're looking for comfort. While some dogs are highly outgoing and confident, others can really struggle with anxiety. For these dogs, leaning against their trusted human friend is a way for them to feel reassured in high-pressure moments. Side note, but if you think this might be true of your dog, please don't worry. Their anxiousness is not your fault. If thumbing through research for this channel has taught me anything, it's that so many more dogs suffer with anxiety than you might realize. I think I mentioned it in every video. It is common and normal, and not your fault. According to a study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science, dogs can pretty commonly experience separation anxiety and stress, and a major way they cope is to get up close and personal with their guardian. If your dog always seems to lean on you when they're in a crowded place, during thunderstorms, or when there's fireworks outside, chances are you just have a naturally anxious pup who's looking for a little bit of support when they're feeling overwhelmed. Nice to know that most theories for dogs leaning on you are positive and a sign of affection. Here's hoping nothing gets added to this list that ruins that. But not all leaning is purely affectionate. Oh dear, sometimes it's a subtle way for a dog to claim you as their own, as their property almost. This is especially common in multi-dog households. In such homes, one dog might lean on their owner as a way to block other dogs from getting attention, as a way of saying, "No, this is mine." Behaviorists refer to this as resource guarding, because as weird as this might sound, in such a situation, your dog is treating you as a valuable resource. It might feel weird to be treated as literally an object, but it does make sense. You are a valuable provider of everything from food to water to hugs. So if you have a pooch who is scared about scarcity of said resources, it makes sense that they would want to bottleneck the supply chain and keep it for themselves. This can also manifest not when other dogs are around, but other people. If your dog becomes tense or pushy, leaning into you hard when another person approaches, it may be a sign that they're trying to assert dominance or protect what they see as their human. Though emotional reasons are not the only reason your dog might lean into you, sometimes it might be pure physical necessity. Perhaps they have joint pain, or maybe arthritis, or even dysplasia, and they are looking to take some of the weight off their legs. Even if your dog is a larger breed, there is an increased chance this is the case. Some classic examples of dogs who would suffer with joint and hip issues are Labradors like Brian from Family Guy, German Shepherds like Charlie Barkin from All Dogs Go to Heaven, and Great Danes, like Scooby-Doo from Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed. A study from the Journal of Veterinary Internal Medicine found that older dogs often use leaning and resting against objects to compensate for the discomfort in their legs. So if your dog suddenly starts leaning more often and seems reluctant to move, it might be worth a trip to the vet to check for underlying health issues, especially if they are a larger breed like one of the above examples. Of course, your dog might just like to lean on stuff for the same reason they like to sit when you say sit, and fetch when you say fetch. Because dogs are smart cookies and masters of learning. And if they've learned that leaning garners a result they're looking for, then lean they shall. Let me give you an example. Your dog leans against you. Without even thinking about it, you pet them or give them attention, because you're not a heartless monster. At that moment, your dog is thinking, well, my oh my. Seems leaning against this giant flesh sack prompts me to be petted. If they lean against you again and you pet them again, they'll think, there's validity in my theory, it seems. Pretty soon they will come to know that leaning against you prompts a lovely little petting session, so leaning will become a regular habit for them. Animal trainer Karen Pryor explains that positive reinforcement can shape many dog behaviors. Now, we all know this because that's how we teach them. But Miss Pryor's point is that it even works for things we don't consciously do. If your dog leans on you and gets belly rubs, ear scratches, or a warm lap to rest on, they're going to keep doing it because they'll assume it's the trigger for the attention and affection that follows. Which rather neatly leads us to our next reason. Some dogs lean against their owner simply because they want attention. If you've been a little busy off late and unconsciously ignored them, they will feel that. So they will press against you as their way of saying, hey, excuse me, I'm right here. I deserve to be noticed. I'm pretty cute, actually. It's kind of weird you're not noticing me, actually. A study in animal cognition found that dogs are highly responsive to human attention and will actively seek physical contact when they are in the mood for a little social interaction. Though I'm pretty sure you, as a dog owner, did not need a professional study to tell you that. If your dog combines leaning against you with a hyperactive tail wag and a gleeful gaze up at you, that is a dog who is simply in the mood for some attention. So give it to them. They deserve it. They're the best. Your dog wants to eat you, and leaning against you is their attempt to push you off your feet and onto the floor so they can gobble you up. I mean, that's not true. I'm just making sure you're still paying attention. Puppies naturally lean on their mothers for warmth, safety, and security, just like how human babies naturally cling to their mothers. But this behavior can often carry into adulthood, especially in breeds that are known to have particularly strong social bonds with their pet parents. In addition, dogs that were well socialized as puppies tend to have a habit for craving more physical contact as they grow, and this can include leaning. Dr. Stanley Coren, a canine expert and psychologist, explains that dogs raised in affectionate environments are significantly more likely to display behaviors we might refer to as touch-seeking. This includes leaning, but also extends to other similar habits like cuddling. If your dog has always been a leaner, it likely just means they have a loving nature as a result of a warm and pleasant upbringing. I mentioned that some dogs are more prone to leaning onto humans, like their Fonzie and the human as a jukebox. This can include Dobermans, like Roscoe from Disney's Oliver and Company, Golden Retrievers like Duke from The Secret Life of Pets, Boxers like Spike from Rugrats, and Great Danes like Scooby-Doo from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. There's a good reason for this. Actual science. The American Kennel Club notes that these breeds were often quite literally bred for companionship or working closely with humans, which makes them naturally more inclined toward physical closeness with us. And that's why your dog might lean on you. But if they're shivering, you'll have to watch this next video to know what that means.